Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing how to find the cross sections of three-dimensional figures. First, let's define what a cross section is. A cross section is a shape that is exposed by making a straight cut through a three-dimensional figure. Those cuts can be either horizontal or vertical. The horizontal cross section will always be parallel to the base and have the same shape as the base. The vertical cross-section will always be perpendicular to the base and have the same shape as the face. The key words to let you know that it's vertical cross-section is altitude and perpendicular. So again, horizontal means it's parallel to the base. Vertical means either perpendicular or altitude to the face. Let's take a look at some examples. Let's look at the first two examples. So I have a triangular prism. If I cut the triangular prism horizontally, it's going to be parallel to the base. And the base is a triangle. So if I cut it horizontally, the cross-section would be a triangle. If I cut it vertically, which means perpendicular altitude, it's going to be a rectangle. Next, let's look at rectangular prisms. If I cut it horizontally, it's going to be parallel to the base, which is a rectangle. And if I cut it vertically, it's going to be perpendicular to the face or altitude, and it's still going to be a rectangle. Same thing goes for these next two examples. That is a rectangular prism again. Both cross sections are rectangles. The last two, I have a cylinder. So if I cut it horizontally, it's going to be parallel to the base, which is a circle. But if I cut it vertically, the cross section would be a rectangle. Let's look through some more questions. The next two I have are pyramids. So if I cut it horizontally to a pyramid, whatever the base is, in this case it would be a rectangle. If I cut it vertically, perpendicular altitude, it's going to be a triangle. If I look at the next two examples, if I cut it horizontally, the base is a triangle, so therefore the cross section would be a triangle. And if I cut it vertically, it would also be a triangle. Next, I have a cone. So if I cut it horizontally, it's going to be parallel to the base, which is a circle. And if I cut it vertically, perpendicular altitude, it's going to be a triangle. And finally, for the last two, for a sphere, if I cut it horizontally, parallel to the base, which is a circle, if I cut it vertically, it's also going to be a circle. Quick reminder that the keywords are vertical cross-section, it's either perpendicular or altitude, and horizontal cross-section is parallel. Let's take a look at an example. Given a right circular cone, what is the shape of a cross-section parallel to the base of the cone? Remember, if I cut it parallel, this means horizontal. It's going to have the same shape as the base, which is a circle. What is the shape of a cross-section perpendicular to the base? This means vertical. So if I cut it up and down, it's going to look like a triangle. Remember, parallel means horizontal, perpendicular and altitude mean vertical.